Yeah.
But my favorite story of this year, and this is one that I love so much, it's by a beautiful woman, Joe, called Isla Bryson.
Oh, this is a great story.
This, I remember last time I was at your club, The Mothership, we touched on it briefly when you and I were talking, but this to me is the most beautiful story of a beautiful woman living her best life.
Jamie, we're going to need to see a photo of this beautiful woman.
Joe, you're happily married.
I don't remember you bringing this up.
Right.
So this happened in Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is the story?
Okay. So there's a 2-time male rapist called Adam Graham, convicted male rapist, right? And then, just before he was going to be sent to prison, he got what Konstantin and I like to call rapid onset prison dysphoria.
Prison onset. You butchered the line, but it's prison onset gender dysphoria.
Yeah, there you
this
go.
is the guy.
So now he's a woman in women's prison?
Yeah.
They put him in a woman's prison in Scotland.
There's a clitoris, Joe, if you're wondering.
They're doing that in America, too.
Yeah.
There's quite a few. There's one person that identifies as a woman, went to jail, and got 2 people pregnant in jail. Like, like what? It just seems so silly.
And I'm as liberal as you can get, but I'm not on board with that.
Well, I'm as liberal as you can get, too. That's what's so crazy. It's like they push it so far to cuckoo land that any rejection of any of these outrageously stupid ideas becomes far right.
Yeah.
You're far right if you don't think a guy with a regular dick who's been straight his whole life should be able to identify as a woman and go into a women's prison and be with women. Like, come on.
And this guy's a rapist. He's a threat. We know he's a threat.
It's so crazy. It's just so crazy that they'll take it all the way to prison.
And then you've got politicians who, on the Question Time, which is our most prestigious political debate show, they had a member of the SNP, because this happened in Scotland, so this is a member of the Scottish National Party, and this SNP member was asked, is Isla Graham male or female? And you know what she responded, this woman? She went, they're a rapist. Refused to even acknowledge
that it's a male.
That it's a man.
What a weird world. So weird.
Isn't it?
I would have never imagined if you came to me in 2013 and said, guess what's going to be a crazy subject 10 years from now? Guys who just say they're women and they put them in women's prisons. What? Come on. That can't be a thing. Imagine if you had to dress up like a woman for a whole year in order for it to be like legit. Like there was a rule. Like you could do it, but you had to dress up like a whole year. So criminals just started dressing up like women. And that became like the thing. You know, like guys like to sag.
Yeah.
Like that's how they wear their pants in prison, right? So they like to sag. It's like part of the thing. What if that becomes the thing? Like, there's only one way to get locked up with women. You got to dress like a woman all the time. So you got to dress like a woman for like a whole year in order to be accepted. It would be the new style of like just people who just like, I'm a criminal. I don't give a fuck. This is what I do. If I get arrested, at least I'm going to get arrested with women.
Yeah. I mean,
guys would start wearing dresses.
And I'll be honest with you, man. I don't want to be talking about trans my whole life. I don't.
You have to. You have no choice. You will comply.
No.
You will comply, or we will freeze your bank account.
I don't want to be talking about this shit. But when this is happening, what are we supposed to do? We're just supposed to sit there and pretend it's not happening?
Well, if you have any opinion other than what you're supposed to have, then you're some kind of a terrible person and a transphobe. And that's nuts because there's always room for crazy. You got to leave room for crazy. You got to leave room for crazy in all groups of people, including trans people. And if you don't, if you're trying to pretend that you have this group that anybody can join and that these are new rules and we're all living in Narnia now, come on. Come on. There's always going to be crazy people.
Of course.
The Emperor's fucking naked, man.
The Emperor's naked as fuck, and he's got a heart on.
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, and he's like, I want access to the female changing rooms. And we're like, come this way, madam.
And you're a bigot if you don't agree.
Imagine Francis Ngannou was like, you know what? I'm a woman.
I wonder what percentage of like people with kids believe that versus people who don't have kids.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if there's so many people that have ideas, people that don't have children, they have ideas that I think they just have this ideology that they subscribe to, but with no consequences for anyone that's really young that they love and care about. And then when they have kids and then there's someone young they love and care about, you start looking at the world as a much more dangerous place. you start saying, oh, these people are like little kids. Like there was some little girl got kidnapped really recently. They used geo-tracking of cell phones and shit, and the person's fingerprints from the ransom note, and they got her back pretty quickly, luckily. But, 9-year-old girl just gets kidnapped. Like, there's people like that in the world. And when you have children, you think like that. Like, someone could steal your kids. Like, that's real. Someone could hurt your kids. And someone, could go in the locker room and watch your kid go to the bathroom because they decide that they're a girl. And that doesn't mean that there's not people that are legitimately trans and identify as women, and that's who they are, and they're not perverts and they're not creeps. Of course that exists too. But you're opening the door. If someone just says, I'm trans, I can use that restroom, you're opening the door for perverts. You 100% most certainly are. But we have to be honest about what could possibly happen. That's why if people are uncomfortable with biological males walking around female locker rooms, it's because some people are liars and they're con artists. And they're not really, it's this person that's like been trapped in a man's body their whole life. They're fucking perverts and they want to be around kids or they want to be around women. They want to make them uncomfortable. They want people to stare at their dick while they walk around and know that they can't say anything about it. That's real too.
Sure.
That's real too.
100%.
This doesn't discount the problem that trans people have with integrating into society and being accepted. That's real too. But you have to understand that if you just have this blanket policy where no one can question anything about this stuff, you're opening the door to abuse.